I'm Jessica Kostek, coming from the TMC newsroom here with Rich Tehrani. How are you, Rich?
Great.
Now, yesterday I heard you went to the Salesforce conference. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so I went to the Salesforce.com news event, which was really about Cloudforce. And when I got there, I braved the cold. I was taking the train to Manhattan, and it was an interesting situation because it was so cold, something like 15 degrees. I couldn't find a seat because there weren't many trains running, so I was kind of stuck in between the cars trying to work, but since there's no heat in between the cars and there's big holes in the ground, it was kind of sub-zero, so I didn't get much work done.
Right, trying to stay alive.
Yeah, trying to stay alive, but you know what, as luck would have it, I didn't have a chance to have my coffee, and it kept me really awake.
Right, really?
Yeah, so I got to the Pierre Hotel in Manhattan, and I got to the event, and I was pretty impressed with what Salesforce.com pulled off.
Did you have a chance to meet Mark Benioff?
Yes, I try to make a point of seeing Mark every time I go to one of the events, and he's the CEO. And as I've written about before, Benioff is an interesting character in that he really is the evangelist not only for the industry of hosted computing, on-demand computing, on-demand CRM, now we call it cloud computing, but moreover, he is a fantastic company spokesperson, and he frequently goes to these events, or he frequently hosts these events, which are put on extremely, in a professional manner, and he also invites the media and analysts, and he does what every single company should do, and that is to have unbelievable relationships with existing customers and with potentially new customers, the media. I mean, I walked away very impressed. A good part of the conference yesterday was a keynote presentation that talked about all of the charitable giving that Salesforce.com is involved in, and just their they have a foundation, and Mark was handing out checks to a bunch of different charities, schools, things like that. I mean, it was a very impressive day, and as a media event, it's probably one of the premier media events that I've gone to. It ranks right up there with media events that I've gone to from Microsoft and anyone else. I mean, really, really just well done.
And from the news that came out of the conference, there's a couple things. They have a new mascot.
The mascot, to me, the mascot, Sassy, it was my first time getting to meet Sassy. And so if you haven't gone to my website, and I'm sure everyone's on tmcnet.com and, of course, Tehrani.com, checking out my photos of the kinds of people I meet. So if you guys have seen the no software logo that Salesforce.com uses, it's kind of a line, a circle, and a line through software. And so they basically blew this up into a life-size 5'5" person with arms and big feet about this big, and so it was almost like a cartoon character. Right. And I had a chance to pose with Sassy, and you can see some shots on Tehrani.com. Just do a Google on SAASY, and I thought that was kind of a cool idea. And I'll tell you, in a tough economy, when you're that close to Wall Street, you need to do whatever it takes to cheer up the people that come to the event.
Does he speak?
First of all, I don't know if it's a he.
Oh, okay.
So it could be a she. I suspected it might have been a she.
Okay.
But I'm not sure. No, but what Sassy does do is use a lot of exaggerated hand and foot gestures that get the point across that he or she has a lot of personality inside that little software as a service costume.
That's cute. And also another thing that came out was the integration of a new application.
Yeah, so this was the big news. I mean, there was a lot of big news that came out of the conference, and it's actually too much to talk about all of it. But I think a couple of the things that I found that were really cool were just the potential for developers to write on the Force.com platform and to write applications that are leveraging a lot of the technologies that Salesforce.com has continued to innovate with. So basically new Java technologies that allow better ways of representing data on the screen via web browsers. But really the more important, or the most important part of the discussion was really the integration between Google's cloud computing initiative and Salesforce.com's cloud computing initiative. So basically what Salesforce.com is trying to do, and they're also working with Amazon and Facebook and others, they're trying to integrate all of these disparate clouds. So if you have one cloud computing vendor and you don't want to be locked in, the potential exists for you to use other cloud computing vendors. That's not necessarily 100% the case here, because really the different applications right now that are being provided and the different expertise of these different vendors, like Google more on the consumer space and Salesforce.com more on the business space, they're not competing head to head, but it does give you some flexibility where a company's not as locked in with one cloud computing vendor. And so the ability now to expand the cloud, and really, if you think about it, cloud just means that everything should work together and it's seamlessly interconnected. And so really, for it to be a real cloud computing industry, you need the cloud to interoperate seamlessly. And that's what's beginning, slowly but surely beginning to happen here.
And are there business and consumer applications being developed as well?
So yes, and so the concept is here that, at least in the early incarnations, you use Google to do things that are, let's say, consumer facing, and you use social networking, social media type applications, and then you use Salesforce.com and your business data, which lives on Salesforce.com. So one of the interesting demos that I've seen more than once is a casino operator that has portal pages that are individually targeted to customers, and within those portal pages, which are powered by Salesforce.com, you can have an application which is kind of like a little video game, but the little video game would be of a slot machine. So you would press the slot machine and you would see the three dials turn, and then if you win, you get some points, and those points could be redeemed towards a show at the casino, and you could, let's say you win a show, or you win points towards the show, and then you've got an agent who's, so what's happening is, while you're playing this game, the person at the casino now via Salesforce.com is able to see that you're playing and to see what your winnings are and how you're doing, and then they can contact you. So really, it's tying in your CRM, it's tying in contact center, CRM, and viral consumer social media type gaming applications. So it's kind of bringing everything together where it all works seamlessly together, allowing you to increase sales, increase stickiness of your service, and increase customer retention.
Now, I know cloud computing is a huge buzzword that's coming about. IBM is now calling 2009 the year of cloud computing, and Microsoft also has their hand in cloud computing. Are any of those companies tied in with this?
So Salesforce.com has said that they want to work with everybody, and I did mention Microsoft specifically. I talked to some company execs last week, and they say it's unclear whether they'll work with Microsoft. Microsoft's making a huge push into this space, and I should back up. In this economic environment, cloud computing makes more sense than it's ever made, just because of the reduced amount of capital expenditures that companies need to make. I mean, Mark Benioff on stage actually said, even if the big software companies give you their software for free, there's a tremendous amount of cost. You've got the cost of the servers, you've got the cost of the integration, you've got the cost of the maintenance contracts, and companies may or may not be able to afford those costs. And so cloud computing in this economic environment allows you to pay as you go, pay as you grow. So you can start with a simple application that, let's say, is used within your organization, and let's say just has 3 or 4 people on it, and then as you see that it's more viable, you can, and your company grows, maybe you put 10, 20 people, and then eventually, you pay more as you get more people on the system, as opposed to, as Benioff pointed out, the traditional way of buying big iron and software, and you spend a ton of money, and then you might not, the cycle is you spend all this money, but you may not get the productivity out of it, and then you need to spend it again, and to upgrade in 3 or 4 years. And so it kind of allows you to get a more level amount of money in terms of your budgeting to make sure you're paying only for what you need.
Right. It sounds like a very up-and-coming kind of technology and integration with all the companies, and I'm looking forward for next year to learning more about it. Yeah,
and we'll see if 2009 becomes the year of cloud computing. IBM, I'm going to say, is probably right.
Okay, well, we'll see. Thanks so much, Rich. I'm Jessica Kostek, coming from the TMC Newsroom.
And I'm Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching.